Hey there, it's James with Make It Happen Greenhouse. And we have our first cold night approaching. And I don't mean just below freezing. We're talking 14 degrees. So time to come out here and get the heater hooked up now. Outside here's a mess. I need to get that straight. We'll do that in a warmer day. But today, we just need to get in the greenhouse and get this propane tank hooked back up. We had a windstorm blew through here, made a huge mess. I gotta clean all this up, but we do have the two propane tanks hooked up here, the bigger ones with the little one, and we have the 30,000 BTU heater inside. I'll show you that. Well, it got down into the 20s last night, and in the greenhouse we're just above 40 degrees. So just want to show off that things are still growing. So look at that. We got all these lasha peppers coming in, some jalapenos down there. So still stuff's a growing here in December in the greenhouse. We got the palm down there along with our olive. I will say the banana plant is looking quite yellow. It does not like these cold temperatures, getting down into the 30s or 40s. It likes 70s. Propane heater setup. So right now we're just running off some electrics that are just holding the temperature above freezing at night. Because it's been exceptionally warm here in December in Kansas. We have had like 70-degree days. That's what that's allowed us to do is to delay setting up the propane heater in here, because that's really what will crank heat. So there's our 30,000 BTU heater that we need to get hooked back up. And so, if I remember right, after winter was over, I just put a bag over the end of the line that runs out to the tanks, and we should just be able to rehook this up, and hopefully there's not too much air in the line and this will start right up. Magic, that would be great, but we'll find out how it goes. So let's see. Right now the greenhouse is a cool 50. That's not too bad. I think the temperature gauge back here is off. I don't know, sun's beating down on the back wall there, so that actually might be right. It's much warmer back here, so that could be closer to accurate. I don't know. But so let's get the heater hooked back up, and then certainly the banana plants will say thank you, as well as the rest of them. So these electric heaters just don't cut it when it gets this cold. So first things first, we want to go ahead and, let me back up here a little, but we just want to make sure we clear a good nice space for the heater so there's nothing flammable around it. Right, you see this insulation bubble wrap here. This is what I'm using to wrap my beehives. And then on top here, we have these right here, that what we do, got some water condensation in here, but anyway, we put these on the top of the inner cover and pour sugar in here, spritz it with water so it stays kind of stable. And then what the bees can do is they can just climb right up through the inner cover into here, get any food that they need. And you know, I cover it with a lid so it stays nice. And that's how I feed the bees through winter. So I have all except for about 4 hives done. So in the next day or two, I'm going to finish those. They'll be all tucked in for winter 100%. And we'll switch over to working on the greenhouse. So that's the plan. Clothespin, so handy. Use them all over the greenhouse. But just put a simple plastic bag on here. Looks like we got a little bit of condensation in there. Make sure that's not inside the actual outlet where the gas is going to come from. And we'll just hook this up down here in the back of the unit. There's a little, I'll show you. It's a pretty heavy unit. What you can see here is way down. Can you see that? Tip it up so you can see it. But basically way down here we got the where you plug in the gas. So that's what we're going to connect to. Just back up on the brakes. Stabilize all this. This is basically just for the blower motor. Make sure we're nice and clean. And you can use like put a little water over this when it's on, make sure it's not leaking gas or anything. That's also just a best practice to do. So just to check, but I'm using that kind of that Teflon tape for these kind of applications. And just make sure it's nice and level. There we go. Alright, everything's super dusty from being in storage. And then we just got to get this plugged in. So let's see if I find my old connection here. There we go. So here you go. Here's the fan I was talking about. It has an auto setting and then a manual setting. So we'll just keep that on auto. Last year I was kind of keeping track of all the amounts of propane that we were using. I'm not going to do that this year. Got a lot of questions about how much, and it just was really hard to calculate because it was so sporadic and not consistent when I was using it. And you don't really think about it every time you're running out here when it's freezing cold to save your plants. So, but yeah, we'll get the gas lines hooked up now. So let's go outside and turn the gas on and see if this works. I got two 100-pound tanks and then the small 20 here. And if you remember last year, we tested all this out. Everything should be shut off now. I have a little gauge in here. I have a gauge here. Looks like they're all saying empty. I'm not sure about that though. Let's check it out. So let's see if we have any gas. We should have gas. So I'm going to open these. I'll open this one all the way. And I'm going to open this one all the way. That should be fine. I'm going to leave this one closed. I don't need to use this little one. It does say there's gas on this, but this, oh, there it is. Okay, so they evened out as soon as I opened them. So, and I do hear a little whistle. So that's probably indicating that the propane is moving into the hose. So let's go see if we can get this started. This will be a neat trick. And if it all checks out and works, what we'll do is just want to clear some of the debris out of the way here. We don't want to cause a fire, obviously, so we want to be safe about that. And we'll test it for a bit, and then we can come out and turn it on tonight, right when it gets dark, when the temperature should drop off. So let's see if I remember how to do this. Let's see. I believe you gotta turn to pilot first. Is that right? I might need two hands for this. Yeah, there it is. You can see down there, there's the small little pilot light flickering. Little spark, see if we get any action. I just have to hold this for a bit. I seem to remember it taking a while to get started the first time. Not seeing any gas flowing yet. I'll give it a little Not smelling anything either. Try it again. I'm sure everything drained out of that long line. So what I'm doing is just holding this to kind of push some gas through. We'll see. Hopefully we'll get some action here. Okay, this might be the moment of truth. Oh. It took a really long time to bleed the gas. Well, looks like we might have got a stable flame. Aha! The heater is on. Let's crank it up. Look at that. Ooh, immediately. Nice and hot. Alright, yeah, I gotta remember it takes it takes about 2 to 3 minutes of holding down the pilot light to bleed out, to get the line bled so you get to the gas. And the instructions say 30 seconds. So, noted. That must be just for a shorter line. So good news, we're going to let this run here for a minute, make sure everything's working well, and while this is going, I'm going to clean up this area so we don't cause a fire. Okay, so I've been running this on high here for about 5 minutes, and already we've hit 60 degrees, so this is working great. So I'm going to shut it down and reposition it for a little more convenience and safety. So I want to make sure this heater is blowing back towards the plants, not just kind of at the wall here. So you heard the fan just kick off there. That's the auto fan, so that's kind of nice. But I do have this hurricane fan up here, and then have a box fan in the back to kind of circulate the air. Alright, so test complete. Heater is ready to go. So what we'll do is we'll have basically this box fan in the back here that'll kind of circulate and move air towards the front. The heater, or the fan that's built within the heater, will push it this way. So we'll kind of have what I'm imagining is this cycle of air flowing through the greenhouse. One thing we're going to do this year that's new is we're going to do a better job of insulating. So obviously this thing is a sieve in terms of you know, leakage of air. I mean, look right there, there's where the Tough Tech panels overlap, but you can still like see light. I don't know if you see that crack there, but you can see light right through. So I mean, these aren't designed necessarily to be completely insulated, especially for winter. So some things that we can do that I've explored is a couple things. One is we might put some plastic sheeting up, kind of like what I have here. This just protects this table here from condensation. So, but maybe something similar to that over maybe some of these sections, just to kind of keep the cold air out. And then one of the bigger ones is this door. So the door just doesn't keep the heat in very well. Last year in a pinch, you know, I did some quick just insulation here, but you see some of it's all falling away and just got tore up down there. It's all tore up. You can actually see outside. So we're gonna fix all that with some better stuff this year. So I have this little bit more expensive you know, weather stripping that I'll try to use to tighten this up. And then there are a few key spots that leak really badly. Last year, again, it was freezing cold. I was trying to look for solutions and shove some caulk up in there, and that just turned into a giant mess. So there might be some opportunities to find some key spots that are leaking and fill those in. I mean, for a greenhouse with Tough Tech panels as a roof, considering the wind we have in Kansas and all that, I mean, it does stay pretty good, you know, pretty sealed up in here with what I have. But we're just looking for opportunities to, you know, make it a little bit better. Last year we had the heater go out and we ended up losing the banana plants. So this year the goal is to keep the banana plants alive. So see if they can make it to next season. And you know, that's because the banana plants are probably the most sensitive plant in here in terms of heat. They don't like to be below, you know, like 50 degrees. So that's going to kind of happen. So the goal is to keep them alive. They can go dormant a little, but don't let them die off like they did last year completely. So everything else did okay. So I think we're good there. So I think that's probably it for now. We have the electrics still going. We'll use those when the temperature is going to get just below freezing. They can usually keep the greenhouse 10 degrees higher than what's outside. So that's been the experience. So, you know, when we're talking in the low 20s, that's when you have to come out and turn the big boy on here, the propane heater. So we don't use it all the time, but we use it as needed. So we monitor the temperatures pretty closely. It's kind of a daily thing in winter. And then, you know, while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and clean this greenhouse up. To be honest, it's been completely ignored all summer as I've turned my attention to the bees, and it's kind of had to take care of itself. I do have an automatic sprinkler system in here, so everything gets watered on a regular basis. So that really wasn't the issue, but just need to get everything straightened, clean, and ready for next season. And we'll have some time to do that now that we're not checking the bees out all the time. So, all right, signing off. Have a good holiday. All right, it's the day after the heater. First night using the heater this year. You can see how frozen everything is on the ground still, even with the sun shining bright. Look at this. Ooh, ice. Icicles. Frozen salad. Let's see how warm it is inside. Ooh. Look at this. It's like summer in here. Okay, so we're pulling 28 outside, 70 inside. And let's see if the heater is still running. All right, good. And on the back here it's saying looks like we're about 80 on the back side. So I have a little thermometer gauge up there. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. Oh, we can't quite get the angle on it, but what I'll do is it keeps track of data. So I'll pull that down and we'll see how cold it got last night. We do have some historical information in here though. This will also tell us what the temperature was up front. So let me just go back in history here. We'll see. That's 8 o'clock, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 in the morning. So it looks like we hung out around 60. Let's go back one more time. That's 10, 9, 8. I mean, look at the temperature outside. 17. Let's get it one more time. So again, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Look at 13 degrees at 5 in the morning, 14 at 4. Wow, so it's a pretty good differential. Plants are happy. I don't know how much it's costing me to run that propane, but at least we got alive plants and that's the goal. So I'll take it. These bananas are the ones I'm most worried about. let's go outside and just see what we're doing as far as how much propane we have left. I'm gonna shut this off. It's sunny out now. We'll let Mother Nature do its work. The sun, we should be good for the rest of the day. As long as it's not too cloudy, we're usually okay. Oh, I gotta clean up back here. Alright. See what our gauge is saying. Yeah, alright. Low. This gauge, oh yeah, we're getting low. So what we're gonna end up doing here is pulling these tanks off probably this week and going to get them refilled. So I'm guessing we got 1 or 2 more nights of this and then we'll have to get them refilled. So they were pretty low to begin with. So the ice. Nice little icicle. And while we're here, let's go take a look at the bees. So it looks like this wrap is working. Got a dead bee on the front there. Just clear her out. Another wrap still holding up. Looks okay. Now these ones I gotta get to wrapping, so that's pretty cold for them last night. Hopefully they survived that. I'm sure they're tucked in super, super tight.